For many car enthusiasts in Australia, April is fast becoming a highlight on the calendar. It's time for Targa Tasmania, and this year we're lucky enough to be doing the Targa Tasmania Tour with Porsche. It's the 10th year of the tour, and it's basically an excuse to drive some of Tasmania's best roads with no one coming the other way. I can't wait. The Targa Tasmania competition event is well known in racing circles, attracting big names and equally fast cars over its 30-year history. The Porsche Targa Tour we're doing here follows the competition event over 36 stages and more than 2,000 kilometres. But rather than outright times and placing, its focus is simply on fun. Available to Porsche customers, the 7-night tour costs $12,000 for a driver and navigator providing their own vehicle. That cost covers pretty much everything on the tour except for fuel and a level 2 CAMS licence. A 130 km/h speed ceiling applies to participants on the tour, but to be honest, that's more than fast enough for most. For regulars such as Manuela Marasco, the tour is now a highlight on the calendar.
50% the driving, but 50% the people. You meet some fantastic people that you want to see every year that share the same passion as you do, and you just have an absolute blast. It really is a family environment where people of all different ages come. People come, uncles, nieces, fathers and sons. It's a real broad mix, and for myself it's often my sister and I, so we absolutely love it.
The level of machinery on offer here at the Porsche Tour this week is absolutely incredible, and we're fortunate enough to be calling this our steed for the next few days. It's the new Porsche Cayman GT4 PDK, the brand new automatic version of Porsche's mid-engine GT car. I reckon it's the perfect balance of horsepower, lightness, and obviously a mid-engine layout. Can't wait to rip in.
The tour starts in Devonport on day one, moving east to Launceston for famous stages including the Sideling and Elephant Pass. On day 3, it's west past Burnie for the likes of Aldina, Hellier Gorge and Rihanna, onwards to picturesque Strawn. Then it's over the mountains bound for Hobart, taking in 99 Bends, Mount Arrowsmith and many other well-known roads. The final day concentrates on tarmac around Hobart, making for a thrilling finish.
There is so much to get your head around with Targa Tasmania. The speed, I've got to say, is much faster than I thought it would be for a tour group. And it's a very foreign concept, driving a car on the wrong side of the road around a blind corner. But once you get your head around the fact that A, you're allowed to do it, and B, there is nothing coming, it is a really good way to exploit the performance on offer from something like the Cayman GT4.
Fitted with a 4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6 and now a new 7-speed PDK transmission, the GT4's mid-engine layout works superbly at Targa, with no shortage of theatre, feedback and driver engagement.
Now you could argue that the Cayman GT4 is almost the perfect accomplice for something like Targa Tasmania. It's got enough power to obviously get up and boogie, to get you out of trouble, but equally it's a car that you're actually able to exploit its performance. I mean, sure, a 911 Turbo or a McLaren or something like that would be really fun on these roads, but you're not going to be exploring the different ratios on offer from the gearbox. So in many senses, the GT4 is a really nice match. It's a balanced car, so on greasier roads that we've encountered this week, when the car does start to move a little bit, you feel it very, very succinctly and early on. And it's a car that generates confidence with the levels of grip and poise that are on offer.
There are 6 different driving groups on the tour, allowing participants to find their natural ranking in terms of driving ability and speed. Up front in the fastest red group, the pace is fairly fierce. No surprises that the tour leader is car sales own Bathurst champion and Porsche regular Luke Youlden.
Targa is a challenging event in so many ways, and in something like the GT4, yeah, you do have to have your wits about you. You can go from a completely dry road to a road that is lined by trees and has just been hit by heavy rain overnight, and it might be -2 degrees like it was this morning. It means that The cars do move around. They are really dependent on tyre temperature, and they're also really dependent on driver inputs. If you're too ham-fisted with the accelerator or your steering inputs, things can turn ugly pretty quickly. So that's really been a surprise with this event as well. You really want to be comfortable with your car when you come along to it, but by the end of it, I feel as though it does make you a lot better with your car control.
Even with those factors at play, the level of driving and technical support here is first rate. It means that returning tour participants can gently move their way through the groups as their own driving ability improves.
I started in the lower group in a very, very cool car, a 993 RS. And I was pleased I was in the lower group because it's a bit more challenging to drive without some of the driver's aids. But this year I've done it in a 2016 GT4, which is a completely insanely brilliant car.
In between the stages, you get to switch off a little bit. You'll do a touring stage that might be 5 kilometres long, it might be 95 kilometres long, but it is a great opportunity to take a back seat and to take in the scenery as well. And what a backdrop it is. Around each different corners here in Tasmania, there'll be a different mountain range or a different valley or a different dam. There is so much here on offer. It really is one of the most beautiful parts of Australia. There are no huge surprises here. We know that Tasmania is beautiful. We know that Porsche make great sports cars. But when you put those two things together, there are no massive revelations. But this week has been absolutely incredible. I love Tasmania. It's a fantastic place. But to be able to discover its roads closed off with no caravans, no tourists, no nothing else, is just an entire different dimension. It's been a fantastic week, and I'll be doing everything I can to get here again.